Okay, today guys, we're going to be creating this beautiful clean card. And who doesn't like a black and gold card? This would be an awesome card for a guy. And you know how it is, how hard it is to come by really nice cards for guys. So I'll be featuring the stamp set Mischievous Mice, as well as the designer series paper Simply Marvelous. So if you're interested in seeing this, please do stick around. Welcome guys. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Claudette with Mspuff Creative Corner, and let's go ahead and jump right into today's project. Alright, so the stamp set that we are featuring is Mischievous Mice. The last date, the last time to be qualified to get this stamp set is the end of June 2022. I'll let you guys know to the end of the project how you could go ahead and get these items if you're interested. Then this designer series paper here, this is just beautiful. You get 6 different colors, I believe, in here, and they have 2 separate designs on either side. So you're going to get a total of 48 pieces. So these are 6 by 6 designer series paper. You get 48 sheets, 8 each of 6 double-sided designs. Okay, so let me just show you how beautiful those are. So you have the blue, you have gray, you have a green tone, you have that pink, purple, and the yellow is the one that I'll be working with. So on this side, I guess, is more of like a water ripple effect, and this other side is like a marble color. So I'm going to tell you what you're going to need to create this card. So if you like cute little critters, this is just a cute stamp set with this mouse. He is so cute. You just want the base of your card, okay? So this is measuring 11 inches by 4 1/4, and we're going to score it down the middle at 5 1/2. So I'm going to put this in the portrait orientation versus landscape. And why I want that, the portrait, which is, you know, the longer way, is because my sentiments are a little shorter. All right, so if I put it, I feel in the landscape, I'll have extra white space. So that's the reasoning why I'm going to put this in the portrait orientation. So next I'm going to have for my layers, I'm using my matte templates. I created a video on how you could create your matte templates. I'll list that up above if you're interested in checking that out. So for this designer series paper, the water ripple yellow one, I'm cutting that 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and that is in inches. And then this white piece right here is going to be cut at 4 1/4 and 3 inches. So I have that piece right here, and then I have the white piece, and then I'm going to use the leftover strip for the inside of my card. And also you need a piece of scrap white paper. So let's put all this on the side, and we're going to go ahead and do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in my scrap piece of white paper. I'm going to bring in some black ink, and this is Memento black ink. And these products, guys, are by Stampin' Up. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I'm going to list all these items in the description box down below if you guys are interested in checking them out on my online store. So we're going to ink that up. And when you have a larger stamp, you could also put that down and ink it up this way. And then you just want to check, make sure you don't have any ink around the edges there. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is just stamp that off on my scrap piece of paper. Next, what we're going to do is some coloring. And I'm going to use some alcohol markers. And we have different hues of yellows. And usually they come in a set. You could buy these. They come in a set. You have the light and you have the dark, and that helps with your blending. And the one yellow that I'm using is called Daffodil Delight. So I'm using the light and dark in that. And also we have Mango Melody, and they have the light and the dark in that one. I think I'm just going to use the dark in that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the darker, the Daffodil Delight, or I could use the Mango Melody, and I'm just going to outline the cheese just so you could have some dark little areas. I'm using the bullet tip. They have the bullet tip and is indicated here by this tin strip right here. And then they have more of a feathered tip. And I really like this tip right here. My zone is kind of worn out. I probably need to get a new one. And you could see it's a wider mark right there. So let's go ahead with our coloring. And with this one, I don't care if it goes outside the line because I'm going to be cutting this out. After that's outlined, I'm just going to come in with the lighter Daffodil Delight, and I am going to color in the rest of the cheese. And I'm going to use the larger tip. Just going to see if I could trim the edge of this tip right here. See if that would work a little better for me. All right, so what I'm going to do, you saw me, I went back and forth with the smaller tip and then the larger tip. And when you're using your alcohol marker, I use a Memento Black ink because that's water-based, so those go well together so the black won't bleed. And then I'm going to come in with the Mango Melody, which has a little orange hue to that. And I'm going to use the darker one, and I'm just going to go ahead and use the bullet tip. And I just want my edges just a little darker. And I think I'm just going to blend that out too. And I'm just going to put some dark, a little bit of this. I'm going to get some of this on the inside of those circles. And then here too where the mouse is. I'm going to come back in with my light Daffodil Delight. And blend that out. We also have a color lifter if you want to make some areas lighter, if you feel that you went out the line, and if you want to just move that color. Let me see if I zoom in, if you could see. All right, so like you see, I went out the line right here with that darker Mango Melody. And let's see if we could show you how it erases there. You see that? So you could erase, make highlights in certain area, make certain area lighter. I'm just gonna touch her up around the mouse with my lighter Daffodil Light. Then what we're going to do is color our mouse. So I am going to use a brown beige tone, and this is called our crumb cake color. The mouse is so small, so I don't think I'll be able to do a lot of blending here, and I don't want him to be too dark. So I think I'm just going to stick with just the lighter crumb cake. And this one has a nice tip on it. You see that? So I could use that point to get into the smaller areas. And another thing is that you could use your color lifter to also help you to blend. Like I don't want to go ahead and use the darker crumb cake. So in certain areas where I think I want highlight on him a little lighter, we can also use the color lifter. And let's see if I could highlight his face a little. And just some areas here down by his tail. Then I'm going to come in with our light Flirty Flamingo and just give him a little rouge on his cheek. And then I'm just going to go into his ear, the inner ear. Just coming back in with that crumb cake to complete that ear. So what we're going to do is create additional dimension. So I stamped another one of the mouse. I went ahead and colored him in, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. So it's up to you. If you don't really have to do all that coloring. This is going to be popped up and dimensionals and covering that lower mouse. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this out. All right, so I'm just going to cut around and cut around the tail here. This little crumbs of the cheese doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and cut that out. And I'm just going to try to stay right outside of the black line and try not to cut into the black line. If you do, it's no big deal. You could always take a marker, a black marker, and touch up the outline. Or if you don't want any of the white showing, you could take your a black marker and do that. And you could use any black marker. You could use a black permanent marker. Or, you use whatever black marker you got. Next, what we're going to do is we're just going to pop this head up on some dimensionals. And we have mini dimensionals. Stampin' Up! Sell mini dimensionals. So we're going to go ahead and pop that up with some dimensionals. Just try not to let it show out of the edges. And I'm just going to add 3. And then for the tail, because it's so thin, what I'm going to do is bring in craft foam. And I am just going to glue that down. Take some multi-purpose glue, glue that down. We'll give that a minute to dry. In the meantime, I'm going to take the backing off of the mini dimensional and just add that over the face of the mouse. So I'm just going to line up his little hands here. Line that up. So let's bring in our white piece of layering cardstock and go ahead and do some more stamping. So we're going to bring in that block of cheese and we're going to ink it up with the same black ink. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that in the middle. Then I'm going to stamp the sentiment to the top of that. And that sentiment is saying, "Hi, sweet friend." And I'm going to stamp that up to the top. And then to the bottom, I'm going to stamp the sentiment and it's saying, "Say cheese." So let's go ahead and cut our tail out and that craft foam. And you need a small scissors to get into along these curves. Just gonna add a little drip of glue here to the end of that tail because it didn't stick down that well. Then we'll bring this piece here in, and then we're just gonna add some glue and the foam and adhere that on top of our main image down on the tail. Then we're just going to turn that over and then we'll get some large dimensionals and pop that up. I think I'm going to use 5. Let's take the back ends off of the dimensionals, and then we're going to adhere this colored image on top of the black and white image. And you could line it up, look at the edges here on this one side. And then when you look at it from the side, you could see the outline, black and white, of the cheese. And I think that's just a cool effect. Next, we're going to bring in our card base. I already scored that down the middle at 5.5. So let's just fold it and burnish that. And I am just going to bring in my bone folder and give that a nice crease. And before we put onto the top, I'm going to do the inside just in case I make a mistake. I could always cover it out with the outside paper. So what we're going to do is I am going to stamp up the image with the mouse and a large balloon, and I'm going to do that. If you have a Stamparatus, this would be good to use your Stamparatus. In case you don't get all areas and you have to stamp again, you'll keep in the same spot. I'm just going to use this large block and hope for the best. So let's just stamp him right about here. Add some pressure on that. Okay, he came out pretty good. Next, in the center of it, I am going to say it's your birthday. So to the bottom, I'll just put this piece of leftover strip to the bottom. If you want, you could go up here. If you choose, you could have stamped him a little better, but he has a balloon and it's okay for him to float in the air. So I'm just going to add some multi-purpose glue here, and then we'll just add this here along the bottom. Just make sure the edges are even. Then we'll cut the excess paper, flip that over, and then we'll just cut this. And that's the inside. Okay, make sure your ink is nice and dry. And I am just gonna come here and try to get that a little tighter so close. Sometimes I find if I fold it the opposite way, it helps it to lay a little better. Just breaking the fibers of that cardstock. All right, so now we're gonna get our designer series paper, add some multi-purpose glue to that. I'm just gonna open it up here so I could get an even amount of edges, the white edges on either side. Okay, and next what we're gonna do, we're gonna pop this white piece up on some more dimensionals. And I think I put like 12 dimensionals on the first card that I made. So my stomach is rumbling, sorry guys. So let's go ahead and add some dimensionals to the back of this. Then we're going to pop the back end off and adhere that to the top of our card. So when it comes along the edges, you're just going to cut those. Don't throw away those edges. All right, so now we're just going to center that in the middle. If you guys are new to my channel and you like these kind of videos, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you could be notified when I upload my latest videos. So next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my black gel pen and just make that dark section of his eyes. Or just add a little dimension to his eye. I'm not sure if you could see that one. It didn't come out as smooth as the first one, but it doesn't look bad. And I don't want to mess with it to make it worse. So if you guys like what you see, go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. That would be greatly appreciated. These are the two cards. So let me tell you, for those of you who are interested in getting these products, and you could get these products, you could earn these products, the Mischievous mice is here. And if you host or if you spend $150, you could get, whether it's yourself or you get a couple of your girlfriends together and spend $150, you get reward points. And you could use your reward points to get this Mischievous mouse stamp set. Okay? So for every $50 you spend, you could get a free product inside of the celebration catalog, which ends February 28th. You'll be qualified for the Simply Marvelous Designer Series paper if you choose to get that one, but there's other selections in here that's at the $50 level. They also had two selections that's at the $100 level. So now this catalog, this is our spring catalog, January to June. So that's how you could qualify to receive these items for free in addition to your purchases. I think these are so cute. This is a clean look, and the pop up with the dimensional, seeing that little edging to the bottom, that it's finished underneath there, and I think that is so awesome. So let me just press this a little tighter. Yeah, there we go. Now it's closing. So I hope you guys got creative value from today's video. This is Claudette, and I'll catch you guys on my next video.